Well, hello! Before I get started today, shall we all have a great laugh at Grace Randolph? This woman was once a hugely connected YouTuber scooper. Now she has no insider knowledge. So I had to laugh yesterday as I saw her 30-minute warning for her next video, which was going to be about DC. And I knew, prepare yourself, Mick, for some big bullshit. Once upon a time, Grace Randolph had big scoops like somebody's private parts in a diamond in Birds of Prey or Wonder Woman 84 using a Flashpoint scenario. She used to have some big scoops, and every single one of these scoops were actually true. Now she's dealing with breadcrumbs because her friend Toby Emmerich isn't involved in Warner Brothers anymore, so she doesn't actually have any insider knowledge. So what was her one piece of insider knowledge yesterday? That The Rock is trying to pitch Black Adam versus the Suicide Squad and the Justice League. Could be a neat pitch. I believe this is a very old pitch. Not that I wouldn't be down for something like that, but I think DC has to get its house in order before it starts doing shit like that. And what I don't want to see, even if the Black Adam movie is hugely successful, kind of WB going Black Adam this, Black Adam that. That's not what I want to see. I want an inclusive DC Extended Universe. What do I mean by inclusive? That I want all the top players to have their movies and have their universes, but I also want the lesser characters, characters like Green Arrow, Plastic Man, to have a place in an expansive universe. And Green Lantern, of course, deserves a place as well. We're getting Constantine. So let's get to the matter of hand in today's videos. I want to talk about two things today. I want to talk about the $70 million opening domestic weekend projections for Black Adam. And then I want to go over again, as I have already this week, but I want to talk about this because this is something that's kind of important to me, all these Henry Cavill rumours about Superman being Black Adam and the validity of them and where they're coming from. So, Warner Brothers have projected a $70 million opening weekend. That is huge because that's a similar opening weekend to James Wan's first Aquaman movie that went well over $1 billion by the time its global box office was all calculated. That would be an amazing result for the DCEU and the debt-ridden Warner Brothers Discovery. It would be huge if they could do this. But can they? We must be very careful about pre-box office projections. We've been here before. Justice League was projected to make a lot of money. Some even thought $2 billion because there was interest and excitement in Joss Whedon's Justice League movie because he did the first two Avengers movies, and the first one is one of the best CBM's ever made. Let's be honest about it. He did a great job. Unfortunately, Joss wasn't allowed to make his own movie with Justice League, and it was just a retooling of Zack's movie. So they projected big money, and it didn't make big money. It was a flop because the audience already knew what this film was. And as soon as people first saw this movie, no one was not going to go back and rewatch this movie. And, it was a heartbreaker. I saw it and I was absolutely heartbroken. So we've got to be careful with box office projections. I'm a DC fan. I like The Rock. I like the Black Adam movie because I've seen the test screening. Now, as I've said before, test screenings can be very different to the actual movie that we get. So just because I liked the test screening of Black Adam, it doesn't mean it's going to be the great movie that I saw. Because I saw Wonder Woman 84's test screening. And I loved that test screening. It was such a different movie. And they did some really interesting different things in the test screening. And I came onto this channel oozing compliments to Patty Jenkins, who at the time I assumed had everything to do with the first Wonder Woman. I kind of worked out that that was Zack Snyder's movie after a while. So I loved the test screening of Wonder Woman 84, and you lot question me. You know, you're lying to us. You said you liked the movie, now you hate the theatrical release. That's because the theatrical release was so different to the test screening that I saw. And people keep on ask me today to tell them what the differences are, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to say to you, the Wonder Woman 84 test screening was so good, and the theatrical release wasn't. There's only two things I like about Wonder Woman 84. Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord, even though it's an SJW take on the iconic DC Comics character, and he's basically Donald Trump rather than Maxwell Lord. But I love the guy's performance, and I felt empathy for a father who had failed his son, but then redeemed himself in his son's eyes, thanks to Wonder Woman. I like that. And young Lily Aspel is the only other thing I love about Wonder Woman 84. I love the Themyscira sequence at the beginning. It's the only thing that Patty Jenkins actually pulls off in the entire movie. So test screenings, you can go and watch a test screening. You can enjoy a test screening. Sometimes the test screening is barely finished. No music, no VFX. You see a scene, then it blacks out, then you have to wait for another scene. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it feels like a really completed movie. So I really liked the Black Adam test screening. I'm not going to lie to you, but just because I liked the test screening, it doesn't mean I'm going to like the theatrical version. So just because you've seen a test screening doesn't mean you know everything, that you don't have to go and see the theatrical release, because they're always different, and they're put together, you know, slickly, and it's different. So I'm hoping Black Adam's theatrical release is as epic, compelling, and fun as the test screening that I saw. Because the test screening I saw didn't take itself too seriously, but took itself serious enough. There's some really dark, compelling moments, but there's some really great action set pieces, some really funny moments, and as I've said repeatedly before, the banter between Hawkman and Black Adam is awesome. There's a lot of good things in that test screening that I saw. So, going back to the projections are like test screenings. Just because the projections are high, it doesn't mean they actually are accurate in their calculations. Very soon, the Black Adam tickets will be out globally to pre-order, right? To buy tickets, so you don't have to buy tickets on the night when you go and see the movie. So their projections are, in America, this is only domestically a 70 million domestic weekend, which, as I say, everyone, is really good and could potentially take the movie to over $1 billion, like the first Aquaman movie. But even if it gets a 70 million opening, Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice had a huge opening weekend, but people weren't coming back in their droves to see that movie because a lot of people were disappointed in it. Some people loved it. I loved the movie. In fact, I started rewatching the DCEU movies as my build-up for the release of Black Adam. So I've seen Man of Steel, and yesterday I saw the special IMAX edition that I've got on physical 4K release of BVS, and boy does that film hit differently with those little interludes of IMAX beauty. I loved the film. So that film had a great opening, broke box office records, but then it had a huge drop-off from week to week, but still made over 900 million. Oh no, sorry, should I say that again? 850 million, so just under 900 million, but still a great result considering the drop-off. But WB wanted more. And so there's two things. This movie may not make the 70 million domestic weekend opening that it's been projected to do. Also, even if it makes the 70 million, it could have a huge drop-off. So we've got to be well aware of those things. I want this movie to hit $1 billion. I mistakenly said James Gunn's The Suicide Squad would be a hit just because of James Gunn, and I was wrong about that. And of course, there's lots of factors to take in account for that failure, because James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is a really, really good CBN. Really good. I really liked it. I didn't like the comparisons to the first Suicide Squad, people saying it's better than David Ayer's movie, because the first Suicide Squad, the one we saw, isn't David Ayer's movie. It's basically Geoff Johns' movie. It is. It's rewritten by Geoff Johns. I don't even know if David directed the reshoots. I think he did. Anyway, it's not David's movie, and we know that. So comparing that to James's movie is wrong. And so, you know, in rewatching the DCEU, that makes me even more excited for everyone, including myself, to see this theatrical version of Black Adam. So I hope it hits the $1 billion that I would love it to hit for The Rock's sake, because this is his passion project. His performance in this film is his greatest performance. He isn't the greatest of actors. He looks good, he looks muscular, he's a bit like Arnie. But he can deliver his lines when he's motivated by the right director. So I'm very eager for everyone to see what they think about a DC movie made by a really powerful actor, entertainer in the industry, but also who's a very passionate DC fan. And I want to see what you think about that. So we will have a non-spoiler review on the weekend of release. Then we will have a spoiler review, but we won't have a spoiler review until I see the theatrical version, because I don't want to base my spoiler review or any review on a test screening. It's not fair on you, and I don't think it's right for my experience. I want to see the finished article. So nobody sits there with their Lego and makes half a fucking model, then decides whether they've done a good job or not, or if the company have set it up properly. So yeah, looking forward to being all over the coverage of this movie. So they're the projections, a 70 million opening weekend. Do I think it's actually going to hit that? I have no idea. I normally have an idea about how a movie's going to do. I have no idea what this movie's going to do, but I tell you something. As soon as we get the initial reactions from Access Media, we're really going to know how well this film's going to be. It's going to be very interesting how the shills and Access Media deem this movie. Will there be an honest reaction? Will it be a shill fest? But if it's an all-out positive response, then I believe yes, Black Adam can do very well in the box office. Now, to the other part of today's show that I really want to talk about. So all week, all over on Twitter, we've had a lot of rumours about Black Adam, mainly about the appearance of Henry Cavill's Superman. We've heard rumours that he's going to be in the movie somewhere. Some people say he will be in the blue suit. Some people will think he's going to be in the black suit. Why do people rather him in the black suit than the blue suit? Well, Snyderverse fans are desperate for him to be in the black suit, because that would be a clue that the Snyderverse is going to be restored. Because that last time we saw him in the Snyderverse, he had the black costume. Now, I would be okay with the black costume, because it means it will be very exciting that we're going to restore the Snyderverse. But if he's in the blue costume, that basically means they're not going to do that. But don't forget, in Shazam, even though it's not Henry, we already see the blue and red Superman costume. So even though we hadn't seen the Snyder Cut at that point, you know, what's canon? Shazam, the Snyderverse? It's a bit confusing, and this is why part of this 10-year plan finally either has to put the DCEU to bed or continue it in a way that we all understand what's canon or not. So a lot of rumours. So rumours about Cavill and what costume he's going to wear, but even what Superman theme we're going to hear. Some scoopers have been saying John Williams, Christopher Reeve's Superman theme. Now people are saying they've changed their minds and they're giving us Hans Zimmer idea of Hope. So it makes sense to have the idea of Hope. That is Henry Cavill's Superman theme after all. But if we got the iconic John Williams theme, I wouldn't be bothered. But again, Snyder fans will want to see their idea of Hope from Hans Zimmer, because again, it's a clue, it's a hint that the Snyderverse is going to continue. I want to tamper the excitement for Henry Cavill appearing in Black Adam because of the kind of people that are releasing this information. People like the home of DC, KG Walsh. These are not reliable people. I'm surprised that one of my inspirations, Chris Wong Svensson of Ping Pong Flicks, thinks these are great sources when talking on his video. And I'm not shitting on Chris, I'm just saying I'm surprised, Chris, that you think they're good sources, because for me, they're not great sources. That's my issue. And this is why I'm taking a step back on these leaks about Henry being in the movie. Don't forget, just before San Diego Comic-Con, people were Deadline were telling us, hinting that Henry Cavill would turn up at San Diego Comic-Con and he was going to tell us all about his future as Superman in the DCEU. Of course, it didn't fucking happen. That didn't stop us all talking and getting excited, but then when it didn't happen, everyone was disappointed and understandably being negative yet again. What do you fucking expect? So, if someone like Deadline got it wrong, how can you trust home of the DCEU and KC Walsh? You can't. Is it KJ Walsh, KC, whatever? Anyway, look, I don't trust these people. So, my opinion about the possibilities of Cavill being in Black Adam are like this. It could happen. It might not happen. We are looking right now at a 50-50 scenario. No, he was not in the Black Adam test screening that I saw, but neither was Amanda Waller. So that's interesting. So I knew Waller was going to be in it, but she wasn't in the test screening. But some people are telling me that Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn could be involved in this movie, and a lot of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad characters could be cameoing very briefly in this movie. What we can see from this movie is there's a lot of DC Extended Universe connections, which is really exciting me, because all these connections weren't in the test screening. That's understandable. They don't normally give you these types of things. So people kind of claiming they saw a test screening and John Williams' Superman theme was in it. I don't remember hearing that. Maybe I missed it. Maybe in other test screenings that played, and in my one, it didn't. So there's some very exciting things in this movie I can't wait to talk to you about in the spoiler review that I learned from the test screenings, but mostly it wasn't very spoilery, and I'm grateful for that. So, as I said in my video the other day, I'm repeating myself because I feel I have to. Because I think it's important to me that my fellow DC fans are not sold a lemon like they were with the rumours from Deadline that Henry was going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, we're getting an NYC convention very, very soon. I'm sure rumours of Henry Cavill being there will be leaking as well by some kind of opportunist YouTuber or scooper. This is what they do. They continue to sell the snake oil. What I'm saying to you, and this is from someone who has a multitude of really good sources, and they're saying to me when I'm asking them, Mick, we don't fucking know. We're asking, and no one, ever since Zaslav and Discovery have taken over WB, the gates are closed on leaks. It's a closed shop now. It's not the days where Grace Randolph could get leaks galore and people like that. There are very few leaks coming out of the newly formed Warner Brothers Discovery, and I've found this from my sources as well. And this is why when I hear something like the Man of Steel sequel stuff, I tell you it's pure rumor. It could be absolutely a BS, but I enjoyed doing that video for you all yesterday because I think a Man of Steel 2 that's off-world, that continues directly from the first movie and doesn't really touch BVS, is a really, really good idea, and I thought we could talk about that because I would enjoy a Man of Steel sequel like that. So, you know, I'm always honest when I get information that is probably not true, but it's fun to discuss this. Otherwise, if we don't discuss this stuff, what is the point? So temper your expectations for Henry Cavill's Superman in Black Adam. He could absolutely be in there. There could be a multitude of DC Extended Universe cameos. There's a lot of connections to the other movies in this film, and that's exciting. And it looks like that's the direction that Walter Hamada wanted to go in the future. And if we keep the DCEU, I really hope we stick to that. This has been Movies TV Mad with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. I'll see you again in the next video. Until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.